Alright guys, welcome back to the Dark Souls 2 walkthrough, Indiana Jones style. In this episode we have quite a few things to do, so it's going to be a rather long video. First we're going to go into the Iron Keep and get the last of the Lord Souls from the old Iron King. We are also going to go into Old Man's Wharf and start on Gavilin's quest. He is the merchant that will allow us to sell goods to him. And then we're going to just mop up some things that we didn't do earlier, like get some shards and things like that, some Estus shards. Now here are the knights again. We're just going to use the puzzling stone sword exclusively because we don't want to use the Chaos Blade to take our health away because we're fixing to fight a boss, and we want to make sure we have plenty of health for this boss. Now we're going to go double whips here. And because we're fixing to get invaded on the other side. Last time you got invaded on the other side. And this is the guy that was in the Forest of Fallen Giants invasion. You've seen this guy before, so. But he doesn't stand a chance now with our double whips and our pincher attack. Very effective attack with the whips. Now, the thing about the Iron Keep is you better have a ranged attack, because if you don't, it's going to be a pain in the ass because you have archers everywhere and they have great bows, and it's going to pack quite a wallop if you get hit. So this is the area we were in before, so same principle applies. Just wait for this guy to come down. There'll be another guy from the right that comes, and the archer will get bored and come down and try to fight you. Here's the guy that surprised us last time. Now this stab attack with the R1s, double-handed R1s with the puzzling stone sword, is extremely effective in this area. It's an extremely effective attack regardless, but against the knights it does really good damage. It only takes 2 shots, and you can actually follow up with a stab if you start opening up with a swipe. It's a good combo to use. Or you can use the spin attack, but those are better for dogs or when you're surrounded. Now, get Avalon out and snipe this asshole right here, because if you don't, it's going to be a pain. You're going to have a bad time. This guy is just going to patrol the area, oversee the area, and just snipe you all day long. And you got multiple knights coming from this hall right here. There's at least 3 of them that are going to come. So I just kind of just wait for them to come. But if you don't take that sniper out, you're going to have a bad time. And you want to make sure you take out the sniper that's at the far end of this area, because if you don't, he's going to keep sniping you as you try to pull the lever that's going to release the bridge. So you really need to take him out too. All the archers need to be taken out. It's in a priority because they will just continuously annoy the hell out of you. And he's right here. You can just cheese him with Avalon. Just wait for him to shoot and just cheese him. He still hit me somehow. I don't know how. The hitboxes in this game, man, I swear. Now, there are some water pots in this area in the Iron Keep that will allow you to walk on fire. Now, I don't recommend this, and there's really nothing that we're going to gain from it. I mean, there's some chunks and stuff, but we're not going to be needing any chunks right now, so I don't think it's worth the effort. But there are some items in the fire that you'll be wondering how to get to, and it's because you have to soak yourself in water with these pots that are scattered throughout the keep. Very important here. Make sure you take this guy out, but there are 2 snipers you want to kill. This is the first one right here. Make sure you snipe him. If you just kind of strafe here, he won't be able to hit you, and it takes him forever to shoot, so you just kind of just keep shooting him from here. And there's another one on the right, far end of the side here on the right. If you try to run to the fog wall, like I have tried, you will not make it, because you have 2 snipers and 2 enemies here. One will jump off as well from the top, right above the sniper to the right there. And it's nearly impossible to get to the fog wall, because it takes so long to get through the fog wall, and you're going to get sniped in the back by this asshole every single damn time. So you must take this guy out before getting to the Smelter Demon. Now, for the Smelter Demon, de-equip everything except your fists. Make sure you have Vanquisher Seal and the Ring of Blades. And you're going to make sure you want to make sure you get as many hits in as possible from the get-go. So we're going to use the two-handed R1s. And what you want to try to do is just roll behind him, dodge his attacks, and roll behind him. He's really not that hard to dodge, and I say that as I get smashed right there. And he'll go through these phases where he'll set himself on fire, then he'll set his sword on fire. And if you get close to him, you'll continuously take damage, but the damage is quite minimal at this point, so we've nearly killed him already. He's fixing to go down in just a few more hits, so just kind of get behind him and just continue to wail on him. With your fists being this powerful, it's not going to take very long. And I recommend using the fists on this boss and nothing else, really. Armor enemies in general are better to use your fists, I've noticed. Unless you want something with range, like with the Alone Knights. And we will come back to this area after we take out the Old Iron King, because we want to kill another pursuer that will spawn in this room, and he will give us the Ring of Blades +1, which will give us even more damage. And you can't get another Ring of Blades until you beat the game, so we're not going to get that one for quite a while. Now, this area also houses an optional area called the Balefree Soul, which is basically another PvP area, but we're not interested in anything that this area is going to give us, so we're just going to skip it all together. But if you want like the Mad Warrior mask, which is a very rare mask, and stuff like that, it's like the Predator. It looks like the Predator. It looks like the Predator, it literally does. Then you're going to have to go to that area for a good chance to farm it. But it's just not going to be worth our time and effort, so we're not going to go into it. But it's just shortly after this area, after you cross this bridge. It's on the left. But, like I said, we're just going to skip it. For here, we want to make sure we take out the turtle from distance. Because if you don't kill him from a distance, then he's going to smash the bridge. And you'll have to jump over a gap. But we don't want to have any chance of falling, so we're just going to snipe him from here, and he'll just come to us, and he won't bother of smashing the bridge. So if you try to charge him, he's gonna destroy the bridge. Well, some of it anyway. You'll have to jump. Avalon is a big help in this area. Let me tell you. If you don't have a ranged attack in the Iron Keep, it's a very difficult area if you don't have a ranged attack. So keep that in mind. If you don't have a ranged attack of any kind, you might want to consider getting one. Now that area to the left right there is the Balefree Soul, which you do have a bonfire there. So it is kind of a good idea to go to it, but we skip it here. Now, you pull this lever and the platform will fall. Now, you have to be careful when you come up here because the platforms will fall anyway when you get up there. You have to stand in very specific spots to avoid falling to your death. So I'm going to show you exactly where to stand. It's pretty easy. And I do recommend sniping these guys from a distance just so you don't have to deal with them. Because if you go up onto those platforms and you try to fight them, there's a sniper off to the side there as well. And the likelihood of you falling to your death because of the platforms giving way is pretty high. Because you're going to be focused on the enemies and the sniper, and you're not going to watch where you're walking, and you're going to die. So here's a great example right here. There is a sniper off to the far left. And there's another guy right here as well. I just like to take this guy out from distance too. But there's a sniper off to the side. You can't really see him from here, but I'll point him out. And he will cause you a lot of pain as well. And you have to be very careful where you stand because you will fall to your death every time if you step on these platforms. This first platform here will give way, so just stand right here. There's that one, and there's going to be another one as well. And there's the sniper right there. This guy is a major pain in the ass. So make sure you take him out. Don't even engage the enemies before taking this guy out. I can't tell you how many times I've tried to kill the turtle and this guy has sniped me in the back, knocked me into the lava. It happens every time. These things will give you pretty good knockback, so you can definitely fall to your death. Very important to take that sniper out too. There's some fire traps here. Just wait till they retract. Again, there's another trap right there. Don't fall for it. They give you a little shiny there to make you, tempt you to go onto the platform, but I don't recommend even looking at it. And this turtle, we can snipe him and he'll walk into the fire and kill himself sometimes, if you time it just right. We didn't quite time it right there, so he gets close to us. And he hits us as well, so. Really hate these guys. We only have a few more rooms and then we'll be at the boss. This is a pretty small area because we're not exploring it thoroughly. We just want to get to the boss and start our Gavilan quest as quickly as possible. And get the Ring of Blades +1. Technically we could have went ahead and got it, but I just want to get through this area as fast as possible because I really don't like this area. Now there is a knight that will mysteriously show up. I don't even know where he shows up from. Not this guy. There's another one that shows up. And I don't know where he comes from. I honestly don't know where he comes from because this area is pretty straightforward. There doesn't seem to be a way he can ambush you, but he will come from behind. And I don't even know where he comes from. So just be on the lookout for another knight to come. And make sure you kill this guy as quickly as possible. Because there he is. Like, where did he come from? I have no idea. If you know, please tell me, because I do not know. Well, I'm almost dead here. You're not going to really need a lot of Estus because the boss in this area is a major joke. He's not the easiest boss, but he's definitely not the hardest, and he's definitely not even close to being moderately hard. So you can feel free to use Estus if you'd like. But there's also a bonfire we're going to hit, so it really doesn't matter. But if you can't find the bonfire, which it's not that easy to find either, so, but I do recommend you get to it. I really don't understand the concept of this hallway with this guillotine. I don't think anybody really does. It's just here for reasons. I love how they just place the enemies so poorly in this game. Like right in front of an area you can't even go anything. I mean, it's just so tight. I guess it's supposed to be like an ambush. Like you walk in there, you get the enemy coming from behind, and you get the turtle there. Yeah, that could be a pain in the ass. Now, you want to shut down the fire. And the only way to do that is to find the ladder that goes up. And I couldn't even see it right there. I missed it. Yeah, I couldn't find it for the longest time. But make sure you take this guy out. He'll give you some headaches as you're looking for the ladder. And I didn't see the ladder. It took me forever to find it. So I was just blind here. Couldn't see it. It's right in front of me. But it's in this area. And it's off to the left. But I couldn't see it right there. So I'm going to wander around like an idiot for a few seconds looking for the ladder. But the ladder leads up to the bonfire and the switch that will turn off the fire, which you definitely want to do. So here I'm a little confused. Again, I'm pretty sure Plasma's going to throw a joke in there about the door again that I couldn't find that was right in front of me. And the ladder was literally in front of me and I couldn't see it, so it's still a little camouflage, it's kind of hard to see, and it's right there. Now while we have a second, let's talk about the Old Iron King, the boss of this area. He is a very easy boss if you know what to do. Now, the problem with the boss is you can get knocked into lava. That's the only problem with this boss. His attacks are very telegraphed, and they have long wind-ups and tails. I mean, if you can't dodge this guy's fists, then you don't need to be playing this game because it is nearly impossible to get hit by these fists if you're watching him because he telegraphs it for like a year and then he leaves his hand down for ages. I mean, this is going to be a very fast boss fight. We are going to take a few hits because of our stupidity, but other than that, it's going to be a flawless fight pretty much. We want to stay away from the lava pit. And if you stay away from the lava pit, your likelihood of success is very high. And I'll show you where to stand where you won't get any chance you'll get knocked into the lava. Now, he does have some fire attacks that can damage you and knock you into the lava too. And we almost get hit into the lava, but we don't. But a lot of people have said that the lava, not the boss, is the real boss of this area. And it's pretty much true. So make sure you hit that bonfire just in case you have some trouble with the boss, but you shouldn't have. We're going to go fist exclusively here, and we're just going to wait for him to slam his fist down, and then we're just going to wail on him, and he'll be dead in minutes. Or seconds, really, not minutes. Now, that area right there, that I just panned to the camera, that is the area you don't want to. You want to stand right here. Don't go anywhere to the right or the middle of the area because your likelihood of getting hit into that lava. Now, right here, see this? This is a very strong attack, and it'll hit you multiple times, and I nearly die here. So you want to make sure you avoid that. And you'll still get hit by... You see how it kind of rotated a little bit? I nearly died there, but see that lava pit right there? That's where you don't want to be. So you can actually hit him when he's doing his fire attack as well. Just don't get hit by the initial attack. I don't know how I didn't get hit by that swipe. But there's his fist, and yeah, just go to town on him. A few of those, and he'll be dead in seconds. He's not going to survive the next barrage we have of him here. The two-handed R1s are better, I think. The other attack just takes too long to wind up, and you can get more hits in with the R1s than you can the R2s. Now that we have the old Iron King soul, we have completed all 4 of the major boss souls. So we can enter Drangleic Castle if you didn't have 1,000,000 soul memory, but we have way over 1,000,000 soul memory. You can get that petrified something if you're still going for the old whip, or if you just want to trade with the crows for something else. You can. Now you'll meet Aldia for the first time here after you have all 4 souls. So Aldia is basically a mad scientist. He did experiments on various creatures, and you'll see evidence of those in the game, like the org that you fought earlier. And he was basically trying to create a dragon, which he did eventually have success doing. And you'll fight that if you want to, the ancient dragon, which is a fraud dragon. It's not the real ancient dragon, which you can find the real ancient dragon once you get the Ashen Heart and you go into the Giant Memories. You'll have to go back to the Duke's Dear Freya's lair, and you'll see what happened to the ancient dragon there. Now, we're still a glass cannon, so we still want to focus on getting our adaptability up to 38. And I was kind of on the fence here. I was deciding what to do, and I eventually decided to put everything into adaptability. So I make a decision here, and we're going to go all adaptability. We want our adaptability to be 38. That's the soft cap we're looking for. So we're going to get all our levels into adaptability here. Once we reach 38, there's no sense in leveling it up anymore. At least not right now. Not unless you're going through New Game Plus 7s and stuff like that, because it's just not going to be worth the level. Because the soft cap has been hit. Yes, you can get up to 120 agility, and we're only going up to 110. But we're more focused on getting our endurance up, and then we got to start working on our vigor, because our vigor has not been good this entire walkthrough. But we're basically, like I said, a glass cannon, so we wanted to hit hard and not be able to take many hits. We're just popping a lot of souls here. We don't need any of these souls. We don't need the old Iron King soul or any of these other souls. Smelter Demon soul. Still saving the chariot souls, though, because we're going to craft the crossbows. And we can level again. Now adaptability is maxed out to 38. We're good to go there. Endurance, we want to get to 40, and we got that to 40 now. So we've capped out our endurance and our adaptability, which is huge. Now we can start working on our vigor on the next time. Now, I keep forgetting to use these sublime bone dust. I always forget to use them. Make sure you don't forget to use them. You caps out at 5, but we're at +4 now. The last one is in Drangleic Castle, pretty much right when you enter, so it won't be too much longer before we'll have everything maxed out, including our Estus shards. We will be getting 2 more Estus shards to close the video. We're going to be getting one from Seldora that we missed, and we're going to go back to the Lost Bastille because we have to unlock the second area of it, but we couldn't do that before because we have to go through the Old Man's Wharf. And in addition, once we go through Old Man's Wharf, we're going to unlock Gavilan, the merchant that will allow us to sell items to him. And he also sells unlimited poison items once you get him to his final destination, which is huge because poison throwing knives are pretty effective in this game against certain enemies. But before we start on Gavilan's quest, we're going to go back to the Iron Keep and we're going to kill a pursuer so that we can get the Ring of Blades +1. So we have to go back to the Smelter Demon arena, And we're going to kill the pursuer. Now, this pursuer is rather difficult for some reason. I mean, he's the same as the others, I think. I don't know if they're harder each time you kill him, kind of like the demons were, the stone demons in Dark Souls 1, the Titanite demons. I think they do get stronger because I had some issues with this one for a while. This one's not that easy to kill. I mean, seems like he takes more damage too. But your reward is worth it because it is the Ring of Blades +1. And you won't get another Ring of Blades until you kill Nashandra at the end of the game. And then you go and kill 2 more pursuers in the throne room. So they won't spawn until you kill Nashandra. I mean, look at the damage this guy did to me. I really do think these guys get stronger the more of them you kill. I think my Titanite Demon theory is pretty solid. But his pattern is always the same. Nothing's changed, but he just hits harder. Just try to roll. Wait till he gets wait till you get an opening and just attack him. But for some reason I was struggling in this fight. Kind of embarrassing. At least I didn't die from him, and he can still curse you too, so be careful of that. But after you kill Nashandra, you'll have to kill 2 of them at the same time. And after that, you'll get the Ring of Blades +2, which is the strongest of all the rings for physical damage, extra damage. But you're not going to get that until you kill Nashandra. So that's not going to be... that'll be the very last video I do in this series. So that's going to be a very long time before we get to that. I am going to do all the DLC, though, before I go to Nashandra. So all the DLC will be taken care of before we go to Vendrick and Nashandra, and then we're going to get the stuff that we couldn't get before. In fact, you can't go to New Game Plus until you activate it. That's something I kind of like, because you can mop up anything that you didn't do and not be forced into New Game Plus. Now you want to go back to Hyde's Tower of Flame bonfire here and get ready for Old Man's Wharf. You're going to need a torch for sure, and you're going to need a weapon in the right hand. So you see I'm putting everything in my right hand because you want to have the torch at all times in your left hand. There's a lot of reasons you're going to need the torch. You're going to need it for light source, and you're going to need it to scare away a certain enemy that will kill you pretty quickly because they do bleed damage and they hit pretty damn hard. I'm not sure what they're called, but they're like these dark demons or something, black demons or something. They kind of look like the aliens from Quiet Place or something. I don't know. We're just going to ignore this guy. He's not worth our time. Now, Old Man's Wharf does not have a bonfire. You get a bonfire at the very beginning of the area before you go into it, and you don't get another one. You have to go through the whole area without a bonfire. But after a while of running through this area, you can literally run through the entire area and not engage any enemies and get to the boss in like a minute or 2. So as long as you know the path, you really don't need a bonfire. And then you can open up a shortcut that will allow you quick access to the boss anyway. So you don't really need a bonfire here. At first I was like, you got to be kidding me, because I was struggling with the area when I first played this game, because there's a lot of ambushes in Old Man's Wharf. And if you come in here relatively early, you pretty much will be overwhelmed, because the Vikings do great damage, and like I said, the demons do pretty good damage with their bleed. And you'll also have the shadow enemies that have the shadow gauntlets that we farmed for in the Earthen Peak. We only saw one of them, but there's a couple of them in this area as well. So you can get overwhelmed if you come in here when you're not supposed to, but we're very overpowered, so we're not going to have a problem. Having the whip in the right hand is going to be what you want to do, because you're going to need some range for these demons that you have to scare off with the torch. Eventually they won't be scared of the torch, so you have to use the time that you have to kill them. Once they're backing up, they'll cover their eyes and they'll back up. Don't waste any opportunities. Make sure you kill them as soon as you can, because eventually they'll go into a rage mode where nothing scares them and they'll just come at you. So just take them out with the whip from distance, and absolutely make sure you light the torch here. You're going to need it. And I recommend lighting up everything in this area. It's quite dark and there's a lot of ambushes. And the first one's right here. He's just lying possum there trying to overwhelm you, surprise you. And there's some dogs right here that are going to come in. And if you go on the dock there's some more Viking enemies that are going to be, like, one's just hanging off the edge. I mean, they have great strength to be able to do that. I mean, like, I wouldn't last 2 seconds doing that. Now, it's an ambush. Like I said, they want you to focus on the archer, and then the guy's going to come from behind. Just know it's coming. And there's another one that's going to be standing right here. But you can get him from behind. He won't see you. Now, this is the bridge area. That thing right there will lower down. That's where you'll get the shortcut eventually. Here is one of the worst ambushes in the game, especially if you're early on, if you don't know what you're doing. There'll be two enemies that come from this area. There's one that's lying down there. There's another one that's in this area. If you just try to run through here, you're gonna have a posse just ambushing the hell out of you. So. But like I said, we're so overpowered. These little enemies are nothing to us. But like I said, you come in here relatively early, you're going to have a bad time. And there's some dogs up here as well as more Viking enemies. So just think about it. You run up this area, you have all those enemies that we just killed and you didn't kill them. They're going to be following you. You got this guy here, then you have dogs coming. I mean, it can be a cluster, really. But like I said, we're really not in any way... not ready for this area because we were so overpowered at this point. We're one-shotting a lot of these enemies. But these Vikings have good combos. They can chain on you and you'll be dead before you know it. Don't underestimate still. Underestimate in Dark Souls and you'll die most of the time. Just remember where the dogs are and take them out. There's a few little huts that have more of the Viking guys too. Like right here. That guy just entered from. Now, Gavilan is in one of these houses, but he's in the one down there. Where that guy's standing, on that building where that guy's standing, where we just sniped. So we need to make our way over there to get to Gavilan. There is a Fairstone that will light up the area. And we have so many, we probably could have just done it anyway. But here's the demons. You can see he doesn't like the light source, so he'll start backing up. A couple of hits from the notched whip, and he's down for the count. Yeah, their claws will do great bleed damage. Quite a few of these guys in this area, so as long as you have the torch, you're good to go. But if you don't have a torch, they could be a problem. But our whip is doing great damage. We have the plus 10 notched whip, and it does bleed. So, but they're never going to get inflicted with bleed because we're going to kill them before we can inflict any kind of status effect. I think bleed is more for the new game plus cycles because the enemies have more damage and it would be more noticeable. I really don't notice bleed much in this game, to be honest with you. Only on bosses or enemies that have a lot of health. Be careful not to destroy wooden crates because they will, or chests, because they will, if you destroy a wooden chest, it's going to turn into rubbish. So whatever was in it is just going to be rubbish, which is pretty much useless to you, so just take care of that. There are no mimics in this area right here, so feel free. Mimics in this game are very easy to spot as well, so. Now there's a bell you have to ring. And you can do it from a distance if you'd like, but since we're going through the area anyway, we're just going to pull the lever here. This will bring in the ship where the boss is at. The Flexile Sentry. We saw one of these in the Lost Bastille when we were going through the watery channel there. But this is an actual boss fight. So you want to drop down here. And there's going to be some more of those demons coming up. You can get them from behind. Now, pretty soon you're going to have one of those shadow enemies that do a lot of bleed damage. The ones we saw in Earthen Peak. There's a couple of them. As soon as you exit the area here, they're going to try to ambush you. Either if you go left or right. I think there's one down here. But we need to go down here. There he is. Make sure you take him out. And if you're still farming for the Shadow Gauntlets, you can still do it here, but I don't recommend it. Go back to Earthen Peak, go into the Company of Champions, and get it. Now, here's where Gavlin is. You want to come in here and kill all the enemies and talk to our buddy Gavlin. Exhaust, well, you don't really have to. I think you just need to talk to him. Once you clear the area, just talk to him. Sell some stuff to him if you'd like. Here he is right here. As long as you talk to him in the two areas that he spawns in, which is this one, and you got to go to Harvest Valley to do the second one, and then he'll go to his permanent home, which is the Doors of Pharaohs. Yeah, you don't have to really, you just talk to him and you're good. That was our main goal of coming here, besides opening up the Lost Bastille second area. This is kind of an optional area. You don't even have to come to Old Man's Wharf, but it is beneficial because, like I said, Gavlin is an important NPC in my opinion, and the Lost Bastille, you won't even be able to get one of the Estus shards if you don't come to this area. So there's your other shadow guy. It's pretty much a straight shot from here to the ship. Now you want to make sure you unlock the shortcut though as well, and also there's an NPC for magic users. I think I never really get to talk to him because these NPCs that sell you magic in this game, they won't even talk to you if your intelligence isn't high enough, or your faith or whatever. And I'm not even sure what he sells you, but I know he's like a magic dealer or something. So if you're running any kind of magic build, this guy's probably important. But I've never really, in my build, I've never had to use it, so I don't know what he sells. But he's here at the end of the dock, and I'll show it to you. I'll show you where he's at. But right here, you want to make sure you knock this down to unlock the shortcut. Now you can easily get to the boss. And I have to go through all that BS again. For the Flexile Sentry, we're just going to go full fists again. Oh man, look at that bleed damage. Holy crap. Just 2 hits and we're nearly dead. Yeah, be careful of these guys. We might be overpowered, but we're still glass cannons, though. There's the guy right there just sitting down on the right there. That's the NPC I was talking about. The Flexile Sentry is very easy at this point. You just want to make sure you're fighting him when he's using his clubs instead of the swords. The swords have some pretty wicked combos, but the clubs are pretty easy to dodge, and he's not going to last long with our fists anyway. He's going to be dead before he knows what's going to hit him. So, an interesting thing in this arena though is that the water will continue to rise the longer you take to kill the boss. So it's kind of interesting, but we're never going to get to experience it because we're going to kill the boss so quickly anyway. So he's got 2 sides. You got the club side and the sword side. Just make sure you're fighting the club side. And he's nearly dead anyway. So we're going to wreck him. And he's dead. Of course, this is a boss that we should have fought a long time ago. But there's a Pyromancy Glove as well in here if you want to do Pyromancy. We're just going to sell it to Gavlin anyway. Pyromancy Flame. Fireball, not the glove. And this will take you to the Lost Bastille, the second area of the Lost Bastille, which will allow us to get the Estus shard that we couldn't get before, and we can also unlock the gate that was blocking us before, where the dogs were, and the bonfire to Macduff. So it's pretty good to come to unlock this area, mainly for the the Estus Shard, obviously. You can just surprise these guys. They're just hanging out. Now, we're not going to do it right now. We have some more business to attend to. But we will come back here before the end of the episode to get the Estus Shard. We mainly just want to get to the bonfire. The holding cells, bonfire. Right up this elevator. Now, there's supposed to be a pursuer that spawns just before you get back to where McDuff is. But I never did get him to spawn for some reason. I don't know. I don't know if I've killed too many of them or what, but I didn't see him, so. I tried to get him to spawn, and you'll see that later in the video. But we want to go ahead and unlock Gavilan. So that's our main goal right now. So you want to go to the Poison Pool Bonfire from the Harvest Valley. And he's not too far from here. That first big area with the poison that we were getting all those items that were all over the ground that we didn't get, he's right across the way from there in a cave. So he's very quick here. We're not going to be spending much time here. And then we're going to go to Doors of Pharaohs, and he's going to be permanently unlocked for us. So you just want to go right here into this opening. Now be wary, there are skeletons that will follow you into this area, so don't get all talking to Gavilan and then accidentally hit Gavilan trying to kill the skeletons. Then you'll be up shit creek. So just go ahead and make sure you take out the skeletons away from Gavilan, preferably. There's another raw stone in the chest, which we are going to use to upgrade our Executioner's crossbow later on. Here we're just selling some items. We don't need any of this stuff. It is the Pyromancy. It's just not called the glove. That is the actual glove from that chest. I was wrong. Now, he'll give you a decent amount of souls for these items, and you're not going to need any of them, so they can actually, your soul count can add up pretty quick. But souls are never going to be a problem in this game because there's a huge way to exploit this game for souls. And I'll show you how to do that later on, but not right now. But you'll be able to get infinite souls, and you'll get hundreds and hundreds of thousands of souls in minutes. And it's a huge way to break the game, really. But that won't be for quite a while, so. Well, not really. I mean, we're not that far from the end of the game, technically. But we're still going to go through all the areas. Minus the Balefree Soul, we're not going to go in that area. The optional area that was in the Iron Keep. Now we're on our way to the Doors of Pharaohs, and we're going to finally get to purchase infinite poison items from Gavilan, and we're going to sell off everything we have. So we're going to put everything in our inventory. Everything has to be in your inventory. It can't be in the box, in the bottomless box. So you have to take everything out of your bottomless box and put it in your inventory. And be careful not to sell something you really want. So as long as you do that, you're good. I am going to speed up the process. I'm not going to show you. I'm just going to show you like how you sell things. And then I'm just going to speed up the footage and edit it. So I'm not going to pain you guys because I have a lot of crap that I'm trying to sell here. So yeah, you got to take everything out of the box and put it in your inventory or you won't be able to sell it. We'll be able to make quite a bit of money from all this crap that we've been accumulating throughout the playthrough. He gives you more souls than Framped. Let's put it that way. Framped didn't really give you much of anything, it seemed. And a lot of the stuff in Dark Souls 1 wasn't really worth selling anyway. It was worth keeping. So our fists in this game are just so damn powerful. We really don't need swords or anything. I do like Chaos Blade, but I mean, our fists do more damage than anything. So with the rings especially. Now, here he is right here. And this is where he will always be. So I'm just going to show you how to sell stuff, and then we're off. I'm going to speed it up, and then I'm going to edit the footage, and that's it. Now that we've done Gavilan, we can go back to the Lost Bastille and unlock our second boss vendor, Strayed, and he will allow us to get the Executioner Chariot's crossbow. Ornifex doesn't allow us to trade with her for that one. And we're also going to get that Estus Shard that we couldn't get before because we couldn't unlock the second area to the Lost Bastille. So we're going to do that as well. Now we're just going to start popping some souls here because we're going to go ahead and start leveling up our Vigor at long last. And we're going to start working on our Vitality as well. But we're not going to have to level that very far because, like I said, you can't go over 49 equip load or your Lloyd's Ring will not be as effective. So we're going to get right next to the threshold, but we're not going to go over it. So Vigor, we're just going to go up to 11, 12. No, we're going to go to 11 and use the rest of it for Vitality. Go up 2 levels here. And now we're off to the Lost Bastille, and we're going to unlock Strayed. Now, he's not close to Macduff's bonfire, so we're not going to use that bonfire. We're going to use the bonfire at Sinner's Rise because it's closer. It's really the only way you can get to it unless you want to go through the whole damn Lost Bastille again, which we're not going to do. So you want to go to Sinner's Rise, and then he's not too far from there. And you'll need a Fragrant Branch of Yore to unpetrify him. Now, he's in a room that has mummies for some reason, and it's a possibility you could hit Strayed when you're trying to kill the enemies, so it's just a really dumb design choice. I don't know what they were thinking with that. However, their aggro range is very forgiving, and you'll see that, so just be very careful every time you go into the room. In fact, if ever you're going to use Strayed as a merchant, make sure that you come from the bonfire, because as soon as you come from the bonfire, he's right to the right of the cell, and you won't aggro the enemies as long as you're careful. But just don't go in there reckless, because if you do, you'll be disappointed. So he's right up here. Make sure you kill all the mummies that aggro here. I really don't know what they were thinking with this. I think it's a terrible design choice to put an important NPC in a room full of exploding mummies. I just don't understand it. So, like I said, their aggro range is very forgiving. We're just going to whip them all. It's nice to have a nice ranged weapon like the whip to take them all out. Yeah, use the Fragrant Branch of Yore here, and make sure you unlock that bonfire behind him, because this is going to be your main way of getting to Strayed in the future if you were going to use him. For us, we're just going to use him once to get the Executioner's Chariot crossbows. And we're going to use both souls. I'm kind of weird with my games. I want to have 2 of each weapon for some reason, in case I want to dual wield them. So, he'll give you the Mock Jester. And unfortunately, you'll have to pay for this upgrade, because he's not like Ornifex that you didn't save. Well, you technically did save this guy, so he's not very grateful like Ornifex was. So it's going to cost you 1,500 a pop, which is nothing for us right now, so really not a big deal. And now we're going to go ahead and go to Seldora and pick up that other Estus Shard that we missed. This is the shield crossbow that we had from the Executioner's Chariot. I like to just keep one in my inventory. If ever you're going to use crossbows in this game, make sure you infuse it with raw, because there's no reason not to. I mentioned this before. Raw will not take anything away from a crossbow because it doesn't scale with anything. All you're getting is bonus damage and no negatives, which is awesome. Now you want to go back to the chapel bonfire for this next part. Instead of going right, we're going to go down these stairs. This is the area that has all the spiders. You can just run through it. There's no sense in fighting them. And you want to make a good strong leap here. You don't have to jump this way, but I just do it as faster. I don't even worry about the snipers here. Just drop down. Be careful not to fall off, though. Take this guy out, and this shard is right here in this little alcove, and you're done. We have one more thing to take care of in this video, and that is go to the Lost Bastille and get that last Estus shard. And then in the next video, guys, we're going to go to Drangleic Castle and then start getting our way through that. And there's a couple areas that lead deeper down, and it's the Shrine of Amana, the Undead Crypt, and then after that, the game opens up some more. So that will be, I think we're going to try to get through Drangleic Castle, and also we're going to try to get through the Shrine of Amana in the next episode, which I think is doable. And we'll finally be able to get our spotted whip from the Demon of Song, and we're going to use a bonfire aesthetic to get 2 of them. But I'll just do that off camera. There's no sense in showing that. Now you want to use the Puzzling Stone Sword for this next area because there are dogs galore, and with the two-handed R2s, they won't last long. The two-handed R2s with the Puzzling Stone Sword is the best way to take out dogs in this game, no doubt. So we just want to go back to the Exile holding cells, the bonfire we opened up after leaving the Old Man's Wharf. And it's not too far from here. However, there is a massive ambush area shortly after you go down the ladder up here. And it's really another example of poor game design. I don't even know what they were thinking here. You come down this ladder, you get multiple dogs, you get snipers, you get a pursuer. Well, there's supposed to be a pursuer here. I didn't see it for some reason, and I was trying to get him to spawn, but he never came. But there are multiple dogs here, and they just kind of just come to your position, and we're just going to use the Puzzling Stone Sword and have no issue with them. But if you're coming into this area for the first time and you don't have a Puzzling Stone Sword or strong stats or anything, you're going to have a bad time. But here is the Estus shard right here in the back area. You can actually see where McDuff is right there. But the pursuer is supposed to spawn here. I don't know why he didn't. And I tried to get him to spawn. You can actually knock these towers down for these enemies that are sniping you. But he's supposed to spawn right behind us, and he never did, so I'm not sure if he's on a timer or what, but he never spawned for me. I need to research that. Now, this is the gate that we couldn't get through before. If you want to farm dogs now, you can farm even more of them. Just make sure you're in the company of champions because you don't want to run the place dry. The dogs are a pretty good source for human effigies. You still want to have good item discovery because, you know, the drops aren't that common, but they do drop them pretty good at a pretty decent rate. But pretty soon we won't need human effigies anymore because we're going to unlock a shrine that's going to allow us to pray at it when we have 0 effigies, and we'll become human. But that won't be until the next episode. So we just got to complete a little side quest, and we'll have it. It's a little annoying to get to, though. There's an annoying pyromancer that you have to kill every time. Now, that's one guy I do want to run dry. Screw that guy. Alright, guys, that's going to do it for this episode. See you guys in the next one. We'll go to Drangleic Castle.